Good morning, Dragons, and welcome to our virtual course selection from grade 11 into grade 12 video presentation. Normally, we would like to be meeting you face-to-face to go over this. However, we hope that this video presentation will be very helpful information through a very important process. I'd like to begin with some important reminders around the course selection process for our school. First off, please choose courses that are best for you, not for your friends or for others, but for you. We want to ensure that your educational program at Fleetwood Park is meaningful, engaging, and enjoyable for you, and that the courses that you select are best suited to your abilities and your future goals. Of course, that will also include all of your graduation requirements and any of your post-secondary requirements. Keep your doors open as much as possible, but again, choose courses that are enjoyable, meaningful, and engaging. Follow your passions. We wanted to remind everybody that having a second language is not required for graduation, but it is required for many post-secondary programs. It's very important to go through the course selection process and choose your courses wisely. Do your research, review the course selection booklet, look at all the course descriptors, talk to your parents, talk to your counselors, choose your courses wisely. In grade 12, if you're interested in choosing a study block, please be sure to include that in your course selection process so that we know and can program that into your schedule. I often reference around students making very careful choices, and that is because once course selection occurs, our timetable is built, our school is staffed based upon those course requests, changes in courses will be extremely limited, if not impossible. We really ask students to choose wisely, choose carefully. Changes will be extremely difficult. And so with that, the starting point for choosing courses for grade 12s is a reminder about what are the requirements to graduate from grade 12 in British Columbia. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Thibault to take you through our graduation requirements. All the best, everyone.
Hey everyone, so with our grade 12 requirements, they're basically up here on the screen. You can see that we have, in terms of grade 12 courses, all grade 12s are required to take English Studies 12 as well as CLC 12. Those are each 4 credits each, and then at least 2 additional courses from the grade 12 set. Okay, it says 8 credit, at least 8 additional grade 12 credits. So that is 2 courses there. Okay. Across your grade 10 to 12 course credits, you are going to need a total of 80 credits. That is 20 courses, and we'll get into that a little bit further here, as well as noting that you need to take your Numeracy 10 and Literacy 10 assessments, and there is a new Literacy 12 provincial assessment that you'll learn more about. So this document is going to be distributed through your homerooms, and it basically breaks down all of your graduation requirements. I'm going to get into it a little further and go through each step here. In terms of English, you need to take 1 in each of the grade 10, 11, and 12 grades. So you can see there, you should have already taken your grade 10 and 11 credits. For those that don't, you'll have to fit those in. And then you don't have as much selection at the grade 12 level. It is simply just English Studies 11. In terms of math, science, and socials, you have to take a grade 10 level credit and then 1 grade 11 or 12 math, science, or socials credit, although many of our students take more than that. It's really important to read the course selection book very thoroughly. There's a lot of new courses being offered in the next year, so make sure that you have a good understanding of what's being offered and you're making an informed decision. Then in terms of ADST and arts, you need to take 1 art or ADST course from a grade 10 or higher level. Again, it's recommended that if that's an interest for you, that you find time in your timetable to take more than that, but it isn't necessarily required, and most students take grade 10 level 1 to fulfill that requirement. For career ed, that's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of choice there. You must take Career Life Education 10, and then you must take Career Life Connections 12 in either your grade 11 or 12 years. So for those students who don't have it yet, you will be taking it next year as part of your grade 12 credit. In terms of PE, you must take PE up until grade 10. At the senior level, it is an elective, so you should have already completed either PHE 10 or Fitness and Healthy Lifestyles 10. If you haven't, you'll have to find time for that credit. And then in terms of the overall picture here, we're looking at 20 courses throughout grade 10, 11, and 12. Only 4 of those must be from the grade 12 credit, and you've already locked in your English 12 and your CLC 12. So you only need 2 additional grade 12 level courses for the minimum level of expectation for graduation. And so there's 13 required courses across grade 10, 11, and 12. That means you're going to take a minimum of 7 additional courses. And that's why those lines there for you are filled in. After that, it's a dotted line because it's not absolutely mandatory for graduation. I do want to let you guys know, though, that the large majority of our students are going to take far more than those minimums in terms of credits. Thanks.
All right, and I'm going to talk to you about your Diploma Verification Report, or DVR. You should have received DVR in your homeroom. So if you do not have one sitting in front of you, I would recommend pausing the video and getting them handed out so that everyone can be looking at them while we talk about this. Your DVR summarizes all of your grade 10 through 12 classes in the grad program, and it includes a summary of graduation requirements that you've completed so far. So this is what a DVR looks like. There's obviously a bit more information in the middle where it will show you all of the different courses that you've taken here or in other places, like at summer school or if you took a SAIL course. So when we're looking at DVRs with students, the first thing that we're going to look at is the top part, the little X'd boxes. And it's really important that you look them over to make sure that there is an X in everyone when your grade 12 year starts. So for you right now, you're going to have a number of them that aren't going to be completed yet. If you've done a science 11 or 12, you've done a social studies 11 or 12, those boxes might already be ticked off for you, but they may also not be if you haven't completed everything. So this is what a typical DVR will look like for a grade 11 student who's completed many of their grad requirements already, but still hasn't completed all of their grade 12 elective classes, and also haven't completed their language arts 12, which is your English studies 12 course. So we would look first at yours. Now, what's important to note is we've just started the second semester. So maybe you're in a Math 11 course right now or a CLC right now. And so even though it's ticked off there that you've completed it, you haven't actually completed it yet until you've passed the course. So you have to keep that in mind and make sure that you have success in that so that you can definitely have that box ticked off. At the beginning of grade 12, when we look at your DVR, all of those checks should be off because you're programmed to be into classes that will make sure that you have all of the X's in your DVR ready to go. So you're ready for graduation. So that's the first part that we look at. The second part is at the very bottom, or potentially if you've taken a lot of courses, it could be on the back page of your DVR, and that shows the number of credits that you have completed. So again, a typical grade 11 DVR, like the one that you're looking at, is going to show that you have not completed the amount of credits yet to graduate. And as Mr. Thibault pointed out, that's 80 credits. So for total credits, you want to look at what you've completed so far. So in this person's case, their total credits they had completed were 48. Those are done. Those are classes they've already taken, maybe last semester or maybe in grade 10. And the courses that they'll hope that they'll have by the end of this semester is hopefully they'll have 76 done. So really this person is very close to having the right amount of credits to graduate, but they still need to finish some of their grade 12 electives and obviously their grade 12 English class. So take a look, see where you're at. If you failed one or more classes, you're going to see a few more spots here, and your credit is going to be a little bit lower. But you should be able to still hopefully catch up or talk to your counselor to make sure that you're going to be caught up by the end of grade 12.
Forgive me for jumping in. I just want to share one thing for students who are watching this on Monday, February 7th. These DVRs were printed before marks from semester 1 were finalized. So if you know that you failed the course in semester 1 and it does show as an X as in completed, please know that this may not reflect that failed course. So just be mindful of that, in particular with the courses that just wrapped up. It's just an issue of timing with printing them.
Thank you. All right, so it is very important for you to do the research about any post-secondary programs you're thinking about going into. And we are very lucky in BC that we have this amazing resource called Education Planner BC. Hopefully it is a site that you have spent some time going through in your CLC class, so you've kind of played around with it a little bit. But I have to tell you that I have fun looking through it and seeing what the different requirements are for different programs that students are interested in. The key to getting the information you need in this website is going to the search and searching for a program that you're interested in, and then it will show you the places where you can take those courses to do that program. And then when you click on the different schools, it will show you what the grad requirements are. So it doesn't take that long. If you decided to just go through a university program or go through through their website, like let's say I wanted to go to UVic and I looked at UVic, it would take quite a few steps for me to get the information that I would get just by looking at this website. So it's a very valuable resource. It's run by the ministry, so it's quite accurate. It's really important if you did this in grade 11 in CLC, and now you're getting closer to that time to look again and make sure that nothing has changed. But it is your responsibility to make sure that you have all of the requirements you need for each of the programs that you're thinking about going into. So it's a very important step for students. And lastly, for me, elective courses. So, you know, really your grade 12 year should really be about balance. You want to have the courses that you need to have to get into any post-secondary or any job that you want to do when you leave. But it's also really important that you do something that brings you joy, that's a passion of yours, so that you balance out your schedule and don't get super stressed and thinking that you have to leave the class at some time. So please make sure that you're also thinking about all of our wonderful elective programs that we have in the PHE area, in the arts, and ADST, modern languages. And just a reminder that when you're choosing intramurals or leadership or science, library science, peer tutoring, that you are going to need to get some teacher approval to get into those elective classes.
Thank you, Ms. Duff. I'm going to jump in and start talking about how you will actually complete course selection. And we're following the same general trend of what we've done in the past. So this may feel pretty similar to what you did coming into grade 11, with one, I say, important sort of adjustment. So what we're asking is for grade 11 students to take this week to consider and input your course selections into MyEd. We're asking that they be complete by Friday. Over the couple weeks that precede that, we will have opportunities for counselors to connect with students, to review those selections, for students to reach out if they really aren't sure. Basically, it gives us about a couple weeks to clean up all of the course selections and make sure everyone is feeling good about what they've selected, and that those selections are truly what students need for next year. The course selection sheets have QR codes and links, but just know that there is a very detailed course description book on our school website. Again, there's a QR code actually on the course selection sheets. I'll show you in a second, but take some time reading that. It's always important to do, but this year we have a high number, I'd say probably close to 20 new courses being offered. Really important that you read about them, and if you are interested in taking them, that you obviously make those selections, and that you also make informed decisions to make sure they are the right courses for you. As I mentioned earlier, course input is done on MyEd. You should have done this in your previous year, so there's nothing sort of new there. Like the last couple of years, we are asking students to do this on their own, and then we'll do a verification step where we check all of them to make sure they're complete. And if there are things that are concerning, a school counselor will connect with you. Like the course handbook, there's a QR code on the course selection handout, so it's there for you as well. And we're asking you to complete paper copies, and then we'll arrange a way to collect backup paper copies so that if there's issues with MyEd, then we have your written requests. If you do need your MyEd account reset because you can't get in, please just come by the office and then we'll take care of it. It takes a little bit of time, so don't leave it till Thursday afternoon, but come by the office and we'll help you out. So this is a visual of what the course selection sheet looks like. It's more or less the same as it's looked in the past. It does include all of our new courses, and it does include the 2 QR codes to the course description book and to MyEd. One notable difference that we're asking for here is basically you're going to go through and you're going to select your 8 courses that you want as primary selections by circling them in the actual sheet. And then there's a section for your alternates, your general alternates at the very bottom. We ask every student to submit 2 additional alternates just in case we aren't able to get you into the courses that you've selected as your primary choices. And then this year, with a very high number of new courses being offered in our social studies department, we're asking students who are selecting a course in social studies 12 or 11, basically in that section, to select an alternate for those just in case we don't have the space to fulfill all of the requests, just because we're offering nearly a dozen courses, where in the past it's been closer to about half a dozen. So there's a high number of new courses. We want to make sure that if you don't get your primary choice, that we get you your second best choice. So that's why we're asking specifically for alternates there. There are also 2 boxes on the bottom of the front page that explain 2 of our co-op programs. And so if you're a student interested in those, they are selectable in MyEd as a course. Basically, you select it as one course. But I would highly, highly encourage you to speak with the science or computer science departments about those co-op programs if you're interested. They are a very unique and really cool opportunity, but you really do need to know what you're getting yourself into if you select those. So again, for course selection, basically complete this form as you have in the past. Make sure you include your alternates, and we will collect it sometime after next week. So that's part 1, making sure you've made the selections. The next part that's really important is that you're able to enter them. And so these steps are the same as they've been in the past, but the next few slides I'll highlight how to enter them in MyEd. So you're going to go to MyEd, whether on a computer or on a mobile device, and you're going to log in with your student number and the password you've most recently used. If you're on a mobile device, you can't complete course selection using the mobile site. You have to switch to the full site. Depending on your phone, depending on the day, depending on which way the wind is blowing, there's sort of 2 ways that you'll see how to get into the full site. On option 1, which is on your left here, if you just scroll down on the main page, there's actually a link that says View Full Site. That may or may not be visible to you. And if it isn't, there's a square in the top left in black. If you click it, the little menu that's shown in option 2 pops up, and View Full Site is an option there. So if you're completing this on a phone or a tablet, you need to switch to the full site or the desktop site. If you've done that successfully, it should look something like this. And to get to the course selection area, you click My Info at the top, and then Requests on the left. And then on the middle arrow here is pointing to something that says Entry Mode. You need to be in entry mode. You don't want to be exiting entry mode. So make sure that it looks something like this. This is a screenshot from another school, but ours looks more or less the same. Once you're there, the way that you enter the requests are by course department. So you can make multiple selections per department. So if you're selecting science or math courses or social studies courses where you're taking more than one, or even English, you can select more than one as your primary requests. Basically, when you finish this, your primary requests we need to have 8 of them in total, regardless of how they're distributed. At the bottom, there's a section that says alternates, and that's where you'll enter your 2 regular alternates and then any social studies alternates that you have. Basically, just make sure you go through and select them. And the red arrow here is pointing to point out the fact that there are multiple pages of alternates. Every year, we get students saying, "Oh, I couldn't find woodwork or weight training," and those are at the end of the alphabet, and they're on the last page. People just need to make sure they go through all the pages and see everything. You'll be able to see your selections after you hit OK and the sort of pop-up window goes away. And so that will complete, obviously, the actual course selecting. If there are courses that you need that weren't there, or if you have unique circumstances that your counselor needs to be aware of, please use the notes for counselor. Do not put, I just need help. If you do need help, reach out to your counselor directly. This is specifically if you have gotten to the point where you know what your courses are that you need, but for some reason there's an issue with entering them. So I'll give you an example that if you hadn't completed your PHE 10 requirement for graduation, as far as I recall, it might not be available to select. You'd have to write in here, I need PE 10. And then when you're done all that, there's a link at the bottom that says post. And when you submit that, it basically locks in your requests and they get submitted to the counseling team and to the admin team. And then, like I said, over the next couple weeks following this Friday, we will be in touch if we have questions about what you've selected. And you are more than welcome to reach out to your counselor as well to ask for assistance and guidance. There's some time for us to adjust these. The sort of hard deadline is the end of February, and that's when we start analyzing the requests, considering how many sections of each course we need, all that stuff. So it's a really important process. I can't, it would be impossible to overemphasize how important it is for our school. We spend a lot of time and energy doing everything we can to make sure our timetable reflects what students ask for, and it's we take that really seriously. Like we basically, when you submit requests to us, we commit to doing our best to giving you what you asked for, but we expect that you commit to taking what you've asked for. So it's really important to be thoughtful here. Do your best to choose the things that you need and that you think are you're passionate about and will make your grade 12 year successful. If you have questions,
can you just talk about people who are planning on doing summer school courses and what they should do with their selections?
Thanks for the reminder, Ms. Stuff. So thankfully at Fleetwood Park, students who choose to get ahead and take courses in summer school tend to be successful in them, which means that they don't have to take the same course again while they're here. So if you are planning on taking courses in summer school, please do not select them on your course request. In other words, if you are planning to take Law 12 in summer, do not request it again for your grade 12 year. The majority of students are successful in summer, and what that means is at the end of summer, we have to scramble to try to find another class to fill the spot. If the reverse happens and you do take a summer course and are unsuccessful, we have steps in the background here where we are able to monitor what happens in summer school, and our counseling team will be in touch with you to connect to try to work out what needs to happen. If it's an elective, usually nothing, but if it is a grad requirement, they'll be in touch to make sure that we find a way to get you the credit. So yeah, thank you so much for the reminder, Ms. Duff. But yeah, can't underscore how important this is. Be thoughtful. You have a week, take the time. I mean, many of you will have done a lot of this work in grade 10 coming into 11. That's really when you started to make some of the important decisions around pathways and the kinds of courses you're taking. But now is a really important window to go back to the Education Planner BC, verify that you're still meeting the requirements for what you're taking or what you're planning to apply for and take in post-secondary. Talk to family, talk to your school counselors, talk to your teachers, and like I said, we are committed to giving you the courses you ask for. We expect you to commit to the courses you ask for. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Hignall to wrap things up.
All right, thank you very much. So as you can see, lots of important information today around course selection. Please choose wisely. Please follow your passions. Please know that once we build our entire school structure around your choices, the opportunities for changing your mind will be extremely limited. Choose wisely, choose well, enjoy your grade 12 program based upon those courses. All the best, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Choose wisely.